Brazilian tapir is one of 5 species in the tapir family, along with the mountain tapir, the Malayan tapir, Baird's tapir, and the Capuchin tapir. The South American tapir is the largest surviving native terrestrial mammal in the Amazon. The Brazilian tapir is dark brown, paler in the face, and has a low erect crest running from the crown down the back of the neck. The round dark ears have distinctive white edges. Newborn tapirs have a dark brown coat with some small white spots and stripes along the body. The South American tapir can attain a body length of 1.8 to 2.5 meters, that's 5.9 to 8.2 feet, with a 5 to centimeter or 2 to 3.9 inch short stubby tail and an average weight of around 225 kilograms, that's 496 pounds. Adult weight has been reported ranging from 150 to 320 kilograms or 330 to 710 pounds. It stands somewhere between 77 to 108 centimeters tall, that's 30 to 43 inches. This is measured at the shoulder. The Brazilian tapir can be found near water in the Amazon rainforest and river basin in South America, east of the Andes. Its geographic range stretches from Venezuela, Colombia, and the Guianas in the north to Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay in the south, to Bolivia, Peru, and Ecuador in the west. The Brazilian tapir is an excellent swimmer and diver, but also moves quickly on land, even over rugged mountainous terrain. It has a lifespan of approximately 25 to 30 years. In the wild, its main predators are crocodilians. However, only the black caiman and the Orinoco crocodile, the latter of which is critically endangered, are large enough to take on these tapirs. It is notable that large cats, such as the jaguar and cougar, often attack tapirs at night when the tapirs have left the water and are sleeping on the riverbank. The Brazilian tapir is also attacked by the green anaconda. When attacked, the Brazilian tapir often runs to the water to take cover. The Brazilian tapir is an herbivore. Using its mobile nose, it feeds on leaves, buds, shoots, and small branches it tears from trees, fruit, grasses, and aquatic plants. It mates in April, May, or June, reaching sexual maturity in the 3rd year of life. Females go through a gestation period of 13 months, about 390 to 395 days, and will typically have one offspring every 2 years. A newborn South American tapir weighs about 15 pounds, about 6.8 kilos, and will be weaned in about 6 months. Azara's capuchin, or hooded capuchin, is a species of robust capuchin. It occurs in eastern Paraguay, southeastern Bolivia, northern Argentina, and Brazil at Mato Grosso do Sul and Mato Grosso states in the Pantanal. Its habitat consists of subtropical, humid, semi-deciduous gallery forests and forested regions of the Pantanals. Formerly, it was considered a subspecies of black-striped capuchin, but some authorities consider it a separate species. Azara's capuchins are regarded as frugivorous insectivores. This means that their diet mainly consists of a variety of fruits, seeds, arthropods, frogs, and small mammals. Capuchin monkeys will also eat a good deal of small reptiles, including even small iguanas. Capuchin monkeys will also eat bird eggs as well as chicks. Our guide, Paulo Barreiros, mentioned that he once observed a troop of capuchin monkeys hunting down black-tailed marmosets with considerable success. The hunting party was very well organized, similar to what we see in chimpanzees hunting colobus monkeys. Here we see some apparently playful coatis early in the morning. The chestnut-bellied guan occurs only in Brazil. Its natural habitats are subtropical or tropical dry forests and subtropical or tropical swamps. It is threatened by habitat loss. It is especially notable and regrettable that the chestnut-bellied guan has become critically endangered, mainly due to poaching. There are less than 3,000 individuals left. The great majority of these are found along the Trans-Pantanal Road and along the Peccaries River. As people in general do not find the chestnut-bellied guan to be an especially charismatic bird, it has been difficult to generate the level of enthusiasm that might be required to preserve this species. The great kiskadee is one of the larger and more showy tyrant flycatchers and exhibits an array of interesting behavior. While not an accomplished singer, it has a wider variety of vocalizations than the field guides report. Unlike most tyrant flycatchers, the great kiskadee freely displays its bright crown stripe. Sunbitterns are found in Guatemala and northern Brazil in foothills, lowlands, and well-wooded banks of streams and creeks with shallow wading water. They can be found at elevations up to 3,000 feet, or 909 meters. When threatened, the sunbittern will often let out a low hiss accompanied by bowing movement toward the predator and or engage in a frontal display where the bird will stretch out its wings and tail. Sunbitterns hunt fish, amphibians, crustaceans, and insects, which they catch by striking quickly with their long necks and spear-like bills. The crimson-crested woodpecker is a large red-headed woodpecker widespread from Panama to Paraguay. It is found in lowland forest and edges, often perched conspicuously high up on a snag or large tree. When compared to the red-necked woodpecker, the crimson-crested woodpecker is more apt to be seen in open habitats. The species can be recognized by listening for a loud knocking drum as well as various chattering noises. The lineated woodpecker is the large, woody woodpecker of tropical forests in lowlands and foothills. It also ranges into semi-open areas with tall trees, mangroves, and other lightly wooded habitats. The tufted red crest and black face distinguish it from adult pale-billed woodpeckers, which often occur in the same areas. We can also note that the white braces on the back of the lineated woodpecker are widely spaced, unlike the pale-billed woodpecker. Lineated woodpeckers chip out rather massive holes while seeking out arthropods in timber. They primarily eat insects, especially ants, beetles, and their larvae. They also eat seeds, equivalent to the heliconia, fruits, berries, and nuts. Nest cavities are excavated in decaying timber at variable heights ranging from 2 to 27 meters, that is 6.6 to 89 feet above the ground. The Toco Toucan is the best known and largest member of the toucan family. Toco toucans live in South American rainforests and Cerrado savanna. They are native to Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, and Suriname. Note that the Toco toucan seen here is in a maduvi tree, and it is eating, of course, maduvi fruit. Curiously, Toco toucans are the main predators of hyacinth macaw chicks, and about 90% of hyacinth macaw nests in the Pantanal occur in maduvi trees. It thus seems that nature has struck an intriguing balance between the occasionally predatory nature of the Toco toucan and the hyacinth macaws' preferred nesting site. Toco toucans have striking plumage with a black body, white throat, and a blue or orange eye ring. Their most noticeable feature, however, is their huge yellow beak with a black or blue tip, which looks heavy but is incredibly light because the inside is hollow. Toco toucans are an average of 25 inches long, with their beaks measuring up to 8 inches. Toco toucans are typically seen in pairs or small family groups. In flight, this species alternates between a burst of rapid flaps and gliding. Nesting is seasonal, but timing differs between regions. The nest is typically placed high in a tree and consists of a cavity, at least part of which is excavated by the parent birds themselves. It has also been recorded nesting in holes in earth banks and terrestrial termite nests. As can be seen here, the Toco toucan uses its large beak to eat its primary food, fruit. They will also occasionally eat insects, reptiles, and bird eggs. The Greate Rhea derives its scientific name from Rhea, a Greek goddess, and the Latinized form of America. It was originally described by Carl Linnaeus in his 18th century work Systema Naturae under the name Struthiocamelus americanus. He identified the specimens from Sergipe and Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil, in 1758. They are from one family, Rheidae, and the order Rheiformes. They are closely related to other ratites such as emus, ostriches, cassowaries, and kiwi, along with the extinct forms moa and elephant birds. The Rufous hornero is a fairly large oven bird. It is found in almost any open habitat, including many urban areas. Rufous above and buff below with a contrasting white throat, faint eyebrow, and a dark rufous tail. The song is a loud and rhythmic burst of queep notes, often delivered as a duet with wings flapping wildly. The southern lapwing is a conspicuous inhabitant of grasslands and pastures from Panama and northern South America south to Tierra del Fuego. A large crested lapwing, the southern lapwing has gray-brown upper parts with a brown sheen, a black breastband that extends up to the bird's forehead, wing spurs, and a white belly and undertail coverts. Southern lapwings feed mainly on insects, as well as small fish and aquatic invertebrates. Southern lapwings are largely sedentary, but populations in the extreme south of their range migrate to warmer areas in the winter. These large plovers are well adapted to human disturbance and are increasing their range in response to deforestation and cultivation. The Plumbeous ibis is a distinctive gray ibis with a white forehead and bushy crest. It favors marshes, rice fields, and ponds, but also occurs in grassland, pastures, and savanna. The Plumbeous ibis eats insects, snails, and fish food, mostly seen singly or in pairs. It is very vocal, especially at dawn, giving a series of cackling notes, ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. The striking marsh bird seen here along with the Plumbeous ibis is the wattle jacana. Note its exceptionally long toes that enable it to walk on the soft vegetation. The narrow-billed wood creeper is a medium-sized wood creeper with a bold head pattern and pale decurved bill. It is found in open woodlands, wooded savannas, and agricultural lands with scattered trees where it forages on tree trunks and wooden fences, often with mixed species flocks. Extensive plumage variation between subspecies, but generally rufous above with paler underparts, a dark crown and a black mask, and a striking white eyebrow. The Savanna hawk is a beautiful orangish raptor with a widespread distribution across Central and South America. Singles or pairs are found in open habitats, often perched conspicuously on a fence post or treetop. The great blackhawk is uncommon in forest, marshes, and mangroves, where it is usually greatly outnumbered by similar common blackhawk. Slightly larger and lankier than the common blackhawk, it has longer legs and tail, and adults of the two species have different calls in flight. With regard to diet, the great blackhawk is a generalist, feeding primarily on rodents, bats, birds, fish, crabs, reptiles, and amphibians. There are reports of these hawks eating fruit and eggs. The buff-necked ibis is a stockily built ibis. It is very similar to the black-faced ibis, but the ranges of the two species do not overlap. Back and wings are mostly gray with black belly and contrasting buffy neck and head. The buff-necked ibis is usually found in pairs or small groups in open habitats such as pastures and savannas. It is often far from water, unlike most other ibis species. The whistling heron is a multicolored heron with a dark cap, pale neck, and pinkish bill with a black tip that contrasts with its blue eye rings, often found in drier areas than other herons such as natural grasslands and agricultural areas, but also sometimes found in marshes. Unlike other herons, it is rather vocal, often uttering a distinctive metallic whistle. The capybara, or greater capybara, is a giant cavy rodent native to South America. It is the largest living rodent and a member of the genus Hydrochaeris. The only other extant member is the lesser capybara. Its close relatives include guinea pigs and rock cavies, and it is more distantly related to the agouti, the chinchilla, and the coipu. The capybara inhabits savannas and dense forests and lives near bodies of water. It is a highly social species and can be found in groups as large as 100 individuals, but usually lives in groups of 10 to 20 individuals. The capybara is not a threatened species, and it is hunted for its meat and hide and also for grease from its thick, fatty skin. The black vulture seen here feeds mainly on refuse and carrion, but will also capture live prey. Collared peccaries, also called javelinas, look a lot like pigs, but they actually belong to a different family of mammals. Their coarse coats are a salt and pepper color with a hint of yellow on the cheeks. The white collar running around their shoulders and necks gives them their name. These smelly creatures are sometimes called musk hogs because of the odor they emit from glands located on their rump and near their eyes. They use this scent to recognize other herd members and to mark their territories. The gira cuckoo is a charismatic and eccentric-looking cuckoo. Pale off-white body contrasts with dark wings and tail. Its shaggy orangey crest is usually held cocked. Also note the yellow bill and eye ring. This species is usually seen in groups in open areas such as scrub, agricultural fields, grasslands, and the edge of urban areas. The near-threatened black-tailed marmoset is native to Bolivia, Paraguay, and Brazil, and it occurs in a wide array of biomes. This species shares food with group mates, especially when others are not watching. This is unusual among primates. The black-tailed marmoset is threatened by habitat loss from human activities and hunting for the pet trade. The powerful swimming tail of the Jacare caiman is on full display here.
Camera traps? Yes. We'll bring the camera traps to this. Okay.
We go like this. Shoes on leaves.
The Tayra is a forest-dwelling mammal native to the Americas. These animals belong to the weasel family. They have long, slender bodies with an appearance similar to weasels and martens. Males are larger and slightly more muscular than females. They have short, dark brown to black fur, which is relatively uniform across the body, limbs, and tail, except for a yellow or orange spot on the chest. Tayras are diurnal animals, although occasionally active during the evening or at night. They usually travel alone or in pairs, but occasionally can be seen in small groups of 3 to 4 individuals. They usually move rapidly through the trees or on the ground. Tayras are opportunistic omnivores, hunting rodents and other small mammals as well as birds, lizards, and invertebrates. They will also climb trees to get fruit and honey. Little is known about the mating system in Tayras. They breed year-round and gestation lasts from 63 to 67 days. Females give birth to 1 to 3 young, which they care for alone. The young are altricial, being born blind and with closed ears, but are already covered in a full coat of black fur. The green-barred woodpecker is a medium-sized woodpecker, found in lightly forested habitats and more open areas with scattered trees. Yellow-green above with black spotted bars on the wings, back, and tail, and spotted below. Note the striking face pattern with a pale eye mask, black forehead, and red hind crown. Males have a red mustache, which is black on females. The gray-crested cachalote inhabits gallery forests and patches of woodland in the Pantanal. The nest is a bulky affair built of sticks in a tree. The birds often move about in pairs, foraging in trees and sometimes descending to the ground to walk or hop about in a rather ungainly fashion. The rusty-margined flycatcher is one of several medium-sized, kiskadee-like flycatchers that are bright yellow below with bold black and white head patterns. They occur in a variety of open wooded habitats, such as forest edge and secondary growth, often around water. The pale-crested woodpecker is a distinctive woodpecker with a prominent, pointed crest. It has a dark cinnamon brown back, scaled with yellow and a yellow rump. The flight feathers are barred cinnamon, and the underparts are dark rusty brown. The mustache stripe is red on males and brown on females, found in areas with palms in semi-deciduous forest, savanna woodland, and dry Chaco woodland. Its typical call is wee-wee-week. Although it is not a hummingbird, the Rufous-tailed Jacamar was metaphorically described in 1962 by Alexander Skutch as, quote, a small glittering hummingbird enlarged to the size of a starling with no loss of daintiness or brilliance, unquote. Rufous-tailed Jacamars are strictly insectivorous and eat flying insects such as butterflies, dragonflies, and wasps. The Chestnut-eared Aracari is a medium-sized toucan of tropical rainforest. It is distinguished from other aracaris by blue patch of skin around a light eye and a single red band on its yellow belly. It prefers forest edges and young forest, often found around gardens and human dwellings. The chestnut-eared Aracari is frequently encountered in pairs or small groups, especially in fruiting trees, such as we see here. The chestnut-eared Aracari has fairly direct flight performed with rapid wing beats. The flight is rather weak, however, with occasional short glides interspersed. When they are in groups, they fly in a single file across the forest openings and clearings, an upper level of trees. The large bill of these birds is a highly efficient thermoregulation system. Also, it allows the birds to reach deep into tree holes to access food. They eat mostly fruit and insects. The bills of females are usually a bit smaller. The chestnut-eared Aracari is a frugivorous species, feeding on fruits from several plant species. However, it may also take flowers and nectar. It catches insects and is known to hunt nestling birds, and it takes eggs as well. Azara's agouti is a large, long-legged rodent found in the Cerrador region in eastern Bolivia and the southernmost parts of Brazil. Azara's agouti is diurnal. It mainly eats nuts, fruit, and seeds, and mates all year round, weather permitting. It is about 50 centimeters long. It's about 20 inches in its fully grown condition. Marsh deer are the largest deer species from South America and reach a length of about 2 meters or 6.6 feet and a shoulder height of about 1.2 meters or 3.9 feet. The juvenile male, recognized by his small horns, is most likely simply trying to play with his mother and certainly not trying to mate with her. Red Brocket deers are the largest of the Brocket deer. Their head and neck are a light grayish-brown, while their tail, inner ear, throat, and inner thigh are white. The rest of their body is reddish-brown. Males are larger than females and have short, sharp antlers. Their small size helps them move easily through vegetation and water. These animals are very elusive and avoid predators by freezing, standing in place if danger is not immediate, and leaping through vegetation or swimming across bodies of water. Their reddish-brown fur also serves as camouflage. The deer are very shy and usually seen in pairs or alone. Most live between 7 and 12 years. Females under 4 years can birth 2 offspring, whereas older females can only produce 1. Females reach sexual maturity around 11 months, and males reach sexual maturity around 12 months. The animals breed throughout the year. Red Brocket deer are essential within the Amazonian ecosystem. Their grazing creates habitat and also disperses seeds. The common piping guan is a large bird, somewhat resembling a turkey in appearance. Small groups of this species are often observed to perch out in the open, especially in the early morning. When disturbed, the common piping guan bursts into flight and then glides in a gradual descent. Piping in this species is a series of 6 to 8 clear, piercing whistled notes that gradually rise in pitch. The rufous-bellied thrush is a large thrush found commonly in open woodlands, savannas, agricultural areas, and urban parks. Note the yellow eye ring. The song, which varies among regions, is usually long and quite monotonous. Though perhaps not the most striking bird species, the rufous-bellied thrush is nonetheless the national bird of Brazil. The peach-fronted parakeet is a distinctive and very noisy parakeet of open woodlands, savannas, and agricultural areas, often venturing into urban areas. This species usually forages in pairs or small groups, mostly green with a yellow belly, a conspicuous orange forehead, pale orange eye rings, a bluish crown, and a gray throat. The blue-crowned parakeet is a bright green bird with blue crown and face, distinct white eye ring, and long pointed tail. It is native to lowland dry forests and scrub in South America. It has been introduced to urban areas in South Florida, California, and Honolulu, Hawaii. Often seen in small flocks, it can travel large distances between roosts and feeding areas. The great potu is a monstrous-looking night bird. superficially similar to an owl but not related. As can be seen here, this species is well camouflaged and difficult to spot. It is most often seen roosting on a horizontal limb during the day, found in forested areas and edges. It is active at night when it feeds on large insects. Listen for its terrifying call, a harsh descending scream. The crab-eating raccoon is a species of raccoon native to Central and South America. They resemble their northern cousin, the common raccoon, in having a bushy ringtail and banded mask of fur around the eyes. Unlike the common raccoon, the hair on the nape of the neck points downwards, the head rather than backward. Crab-eating raccoons are well adapted to an arboreal lifestyle, having sharp and narrow claws. They are also adapted for a diet of hard-shelled food, having large cheek teeth with broad rounded cusps. Their fur is brownish-gray in color, and legs and feet are dark brown and slender. The small wild cat known as the ocelot made a short appearance before one of our camera traps. The scissor-tailed nightjar is a boldly marked nightjar. It is streaked brown, gray, and buff above, and barred brown below, with a prominent rufous neck patch. Males have spectacular scissor-shaped tail extensions, dark on the outside, pale on the inside. The tail of females is short with no white. It is fairly common in grasslands with scattered bushes and at forest edges. Just outside of our lodge room and right before midnight, we were fortunate to have an encounter with the Brazilian tapir mother and calf that we had seen earlier.
It's probably the same ones you saw.
The black-collared hawk is an attractive, chunky hawk of marshes and wetlands. It is usually seen perched quietly near water, waiting to swoop down and snatch fish or frogs. The adult is distinctive, with mostly orange plumage and a whitish head. In flight, this species appears very broad-winged and short-tailed. Anis are bizarre coal-black cuckoos with long floppy tails and unique, curiously tall, flattened bills. The smooth-billed ani occurs in a variety of open and semi-open habitats in tropical lowlands and foothills, typically staying low in shrubs and grasses. An attractive heron, if slightly odd in appearance, the capped heron is a resident of South American forested swamps, river courses, and small pools. Although it seems adaptable to any habitat with water and has a wide distribution, it usually occurs only at low densities. It's often seen flying along rivers or feeding in pools. The black-fronted nunbird inhabits a variety of landscapes, but favors trees and bamboo along the margins of rivers and lakes. This species takes most of its prey in flight, though it also picks it from the ground and foliage up to about 6 meters above. The diet is mostly insects and also includes other arthropods and small lizards and amphibians. The yellow-chinned spinetail is a small, long-tailed spinetail that is rufous above and white below with a white eyebrow. Usually seen in pairs foraging in marshes at the edges of mangroves and damp grasslands. The pale-legged hornero is a small, plump bird of open habitats, especially near water. It is found along rivers and forest edges, but is now also common around clearings made by humans. It is often seen walking on the ground or along tree branches. The saffron finch is widespread and common but patchily distributed. This species is found in dry, open habitats, including agricultural land and towns. It often occurs in flocks. The dramatic, strikingly beautiful parrot, known as the hyacinth macaw, made an appearance. Note the beautiful blue coloring of the feathers and the yellow ring around the eye. This vulnerable species absolutely depends upon certain palm fruits being present in order to survive. The vermilion flycatcher is a small, gorgeous flycatcher of open habitats. Adult males have brilliant red underparts and crown with dark brown upperparts and mask behind eye. Females and immature males are much duller grayish-brown, but usually show pink or yellowish color on the belly. Widespread. This species occurs from the southwestern United States to Argentina. It is found in many open woodlands and brushy areas, often seen perched on fence posts along roadsides. It feeds on insects. We encounter a Brazilian tapir in the evening. A large group of capybaras make their way across some wet terrain. Note the wattled jacanas accompanying the capybaras. The little blue heron is a small heron with strikingly different adult and immature plumages. The adult is distinctive, mostly grayish-blue with a contrasting deep purplish head and neck. Certainly one of the most iconic species of the Pantanal, the jabiru belongs to the stork family, Cichonidae.
Okay.
The cream-colored woodpecker is a distinctive yellow woodpecker of lowland Amazonia. Bright creamy yellow overall with short creamy crest, brown wings and tail, and yellow bill. The male has a red mustache, usually found in seasonally flooded and swampy forested areas, but can be found outside those habitats occasionally in other forested areas, as we can see here. Indeed, this woodpecker is much more common in the Amazon than in the Pantanal, and we felt fortunate to see it in the Pantanal.
Right underneath the green stuff in front of that little bird. You see the eye just popping up by the green. Now he's underneath it.
Red-footed tortoises occur throughout South America from Panama to Argentina. They are also found on the Caribbean islands of Trinidad and Barbados. They live in dry and wet forest areas, grasslands, and the savanna. Males and females use head movements as signals to identify each other. Red-footed tortoises are primarily herbivorous, but will also eat small amounts of animal matter, such as small invertebrates. Most of their food comes from leaves, grasses, fungi, fruits, and flowers. A bit obscured by the limbs of the tree in which it was roosting, the bat falcon is a dashing small falcon of tropical lowlands and foothills. It prefers forest edge, adjacent semi-open areas with tall trees and buildings. It hunts bats at dusk, but the main food is small birds that are caught in flight. This species appears dark overall with a contrasting white throat, and in flight can be confused with the white-collared swift. Most of the birds seen here have red heads without crests. These are orange-billed tanagers, formerly called yellow-billed cardinals. Indeed, other than having a red head, there is nothing especially cardinal-like about this species. And yet, as I make this point about the orange-billed tanager, note that there is a true cardinal, the red-crested cardinal, at the center of all of this activity of mostly orange-billed tanagers. Returning to the orange-billed tanager, we can note that its preferred habitat is marshes with shrubs or woody vegetation, flooded grasslands adjacent to shrubs or woody vegetation, and shores of lakes, ponds, and rivers. It is found also at the edge of towns, villages, and borders of moist pastures or wet meadows. The crested Oropendola is a large blackbird with thick triangular bill. This species is separated from other Oropendolas by a combination of large size and dark color. It often occurs in loose flocks anywhere with some trees, including forests, edges, and even disturbed open habitats. Oropendolas are colonial nesters that build hanging woven nests.